Well, welcome to the journey. My name is Kevin Polky, and I am the host of the journey. And today, we are going to have a reflection on continuing our theme on gratitude. Uh, Part of this is thinking of the time of the year as we are have moved into fall and into the month of November, where in the United States, one of our celebrated national holidays is Thanksgiving. I know for me, uh, this idea of gratitude has taken on a new, stronger meaning in the last few years as I've been studying resilience. The research has been pretty strong in indicating that to develop resilience and then to teach resilience to others, that there needs to be an element of a perspective of gratefulness and gratitude. And when I think of that in my own life, I think that is also true. That when I have either things that appear to be threatening or I'm perceiving to be threatening, or there is some obstacle or setback that is happening, that I can very much go down as they would say, the rabbit hole of negative self-talk. And that when I'm able to pause or able to see from a broader or bigger perspective, other things that are happening and playing a part in that, I can be grateful for that. Recently, Diane and I were at church, and the part of the message uh, that Pastor Dan Hines was talking about was this idea of looking at this looking at your current circumstance and current situation with the end in mind. And with the end in mind, how do we walk backwards from there? That reminded me of something that early on in my life, I don't even know really when it had occurred, but I was very mindful about the idea of keeping the end in mind. Keeping the perspective of when I was going to be older, keeping that in mind at an earlier time period. Now, that didn't always prevent me or stop me from making reckless or foolish decisions at that time period, but I do remember, when it came to preparing for sports, specifically bodybuilding and football and wrestling, even track, that how I wanted uh, to be prepared for the season, to be prepared for a game, be prepared for a meet or a competition. That knowing that the end of the event would happen, and how did I want to feel at the end of the event, regardless of what, um, if I won or lost or what place I got or whatever that may be. That um, that all I could control, I may not very well be able to control the outcome, not being able to determine who I'd be competing against, but I could determine the amount of effort that I put into preparing, and the amount of intensity and effort that I put into the day of, or the moment of, the event. Recently, I have been to a couple of funerals of family friends who had a loved one that that died. That, along with facilitating the homicide support group, as well as some different changes that are happening from a business end, I'm seeing some things transition in my life, transition and being different. And I'm reminded of when I was younger, I also thought about what would be said at my funeral. that recognizing that what's being said at a funeral has a lot to do, hopefully, with how you made choices in life. That many times we'll hear about people that when a person's gone, they don't talk, they aren't remembered for how many extra hours that they put in, maybe more so the quality of time that they spent with their loved ones. So, this idea of keeping the end in mind and then working backwards from there, I think is a pretty important piece. With the holidays coming up, how do I want, with what I have control, how do I want the holidays to go? We may not be able to control who ends up attending. We can just control who we invite. Maybe we can't control um, the amount of money that we have. We can control and have influence over what we decide to give as a gift. That the story that goes along with the gift may be as valuable as the gift in itself. The memories that are created during this time period may be even more valuable than anything that is wrapped up with Christmas paper or put together regarding a particular dish that is served at a meal. Thinking about how you would want to be able to share something with someone, that being mindful that this may very well be the last physical Christmas that you have with that person, or the last physical Thanksgiving that you'll have with that particular family member, for different reasons why they may change. That by being intentional and mindful, being able to share what that person means to you, the memories that you've already created, and now maybe in this moment, the new ones that you're going to create. That as I was sitting and reflecting at this most recent funeral that I attended and visitation that I attended, being able to use that and pause and say, how can I focus on creating those memories of the ones that are closest to me, and that how not to get distracted by the things that are just temporary, or just at that moment that may be pressing on while trying to get my attention. I think, as I did when I was competing in bodybuilding, knowing that the goal of the competition was of the highest priority, and that the things that may have happened 6 weeks out before that competition, those were just a temporary desire or temporary temptation. That the bigger picture was to persevere through either the training segment or the diet or the exercises that I need to do. I think in life it is very similar to that. Knowing how do I want to leave? What legacy do I want to leave? Family wise, with your work, with how do you interact within your community? Recognizing how do I want that to be, and then work backwards from there, and then acting on that. So again, with the heart of gratitude, of being able to plan for the story that you're going to tell in the future by living that story today. As always, I hope you have a wonderful Thanksgiving, and enjoy and be safe with family and friends, and be safe if there is a commute at all, and be able to savor not just the food that is prepared, but the company that you have and the memories that you create, regardless of who's able to attend or not. As always, look forward to being with you next week, and enjoy.